Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Extra Mind. Today, the topic is data analytics. So, we know what is data analytics, analysis of the data, so that we can get some meaningful information from the data and we can reach a conclusion so that the conclusion can be used by the business in some decision making. So, today, here we are making use of Titanic Dataset, this Titanic.csv. You can directly download it from the internet, that is from GitHub also, you can download it from the Kaggle.com also, Titanic.csv. Now we have imported a package called Pandas. So this Pandas package is it's a package for data analytics, and with the help of this pandas we have read the csv file. It's a csv file, comma separated value. So you have to upload the data set. When it will connect to the runtime environment, you will get an option for uploading the data set. So whenever you get an option for uploading the data set over here, you can upload the data set from the local directory to the collab, but it will be a temporary. So here you can see that upload a storage. So whenever you click on this, so and you will just go to this download section. You can see here we have the Titanic dataset which is downloaded, and you can just simply open it. Once you open it, it will be automatically uploaded to collab. So this is a temporary upload. If you want to go for a permanent upload, you have to upload it into the drive. That I will show in the next session. So you can see the data is actually uploaded over here, and once the data is uploaded, it will be totally visible. The name will be visible, and here we have, see, it is visible here, Titanic.csv, and you have to just read the data set. And here we have data.head. Data.head is nothing but displaying the first five records in this data frame. The data frame is actually the displaying of the raw records into a distinguished row and column, and head actually shows you the first five records starting from 0 till 5. And similarly, tail shows you the last five records in the data frame, and the shape of the data is 891 rows and 12 columns. So the data here is actually the variable inside which you are actually reading the file, csv file. And the information of the data is actually presented that it's a data frame which contains of 891 entries, or starting from 0 till 890, total 12 columns, and also the data types of the columns. So objects basically represent the string columns, and integer and float. So total we have two float column, five integer columns, and five object column, having a memory usage of 83.7 plus kilobyte. Data.describe actually describes all numerical columns, only numerical columns, no string columns, like the count and mean, standard deviation, minimum value, the maximum value at top 25% or first 25%, maximum value at the first 50%, maximum value at first 75% of the data, and maximum value total 100% of the data. Now I have described some questions like data analysis basically tries to find out answer to this particular question. So I have written here, what is the distribution of passenger across different classes, what is the survival rate of the gender, what is the age distribution affect the survival rate, and what was the impact of the fear on survival, and how did the number of sibling, spouse, and parent children affect the survival rate. So you can see that this data set also contains some columns like passenger id, survived, passenger class, name, gender, age, sibling, spouse, parent, children, ticket, fare, cabin, and embark. Embark means where it has actually the ship was actually boarded, like Southampton, Queenstown, or Cherbourg. So, if you just see here, the first question is what is the distribution of passenger across different classes. So, in the last session, if you seen my last recording, then you have seen about how to plot the graph. So here I have made use of a matplotlib, as well as I have made of Seaborn. Seaborn is also a graph plotting library. It's a 2D graph plotting library which is built on top of matplotlib. So Seaborn actually makes the code very shorter. Like if you want to go for a count plot, so sns.count plot, here the first data is actually defined, and the second data which you can see is actually the variable. So this variable, it is this variable, right? So whatever be the variable, you have to pass it in the second instance, and x is basically represents the passenger class. So x is actually representing the passenger class, and the palette is basically viridis. So viridis actually represent the color contrast. So you can change it to like a viridis, muted, all these things. And even if you don't give this palette, nothing will happen. The color will actually be automatically allocated to the graphs. And I've given a title, the x label, y label, and plt dot show. So you can see that the first question answer, what is the distribution of passenger across different classes. Here the x is actually the p class. P class means this class. You have to give the column name specific. Okay, please, if you don't give the column name different, or if there is a wrong in the column name, then you won't be able to get the output. So you can see the person who are traveling in class 3 are highest, and then the passenger who are first class passengers, and the second class passenger is basically lesser. Okay. So this is the answer to the first question, and the second question is what is the survival rate based on the gender? Means based on the gender, how people were basically helped to survive that particular tragedy. So you can see again the bar plot, data equal to data. X is actually representing the gender, and y-axis is representing the survived. Here palette we have taken as muted, and similarly X title, X label, Y label, and PLT dot show for visualizing the graph. So you can see the female were basically who survived in this particular tragedy, that is the Titanic accident, and male were a lesser number who survived. And next is we have question 3, that how did the age distribution affect the survival rate? Age distribution. So age distribution, you can see that the same thing we have plotted the histogram, where we have taken the data equal to data. X is actually representing the age, and hue is basically the survived. And multiple stack means basically you can see that this one is actually representing the person who survived, and zero represent the person who didn't survive. So you can see the age group, all the age group starting from 0 or 1 till not 0, 1 till 80 years of age, people were present on the ship, and who survived how much. The child also survived more, and the 80 the 80 age people, okay, they also survived, and mostly the people were present between the age like 20 to 40 or 45. And this blue bar basically represents what it's the person who didn't survive, and this green or represents actually the person who survived. And here I have used this multiple stack, means the graphs are basically stacked one above the other to represent this survival status, because there are only two classes in the survive, that is 0 and 1. And the fourth question you can see over here, it's what was the impact of the fear on survival? Means how the fear impacted the survival rate. So you can see here that we have plotted a histogram where x-axis represent the fear and hue represent the survived. Okay, so hue survived means basically here the same thing, like 0 and 1, and y-axis represent the number of passengers. So how you can see the fear basically, the more the less the fear. Okay, less the fear, you can see more people didn't survive, because less fear were actually belongs to the class 3 or class 2. Okay, and the class 1 people where the fear was high, they mostly survived. And similarly, the last question is basically of how did the passenger number of sibling and spouse and parent and child affect the survival rate? So similarly, if you see the graph, then you can see that bar plot data, we have data. X is representing the sibling and spouse, Y is representing the survived. So sibling and spouse is actually those who are having one sibling or two siblings. Okay, and the spouse total, you can see the number like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the basis of that you can see the survival rate. The survival rate basically x-axis represent the survival rate. So sibling and spouse, if they have one sibling, okay, so the survival rate was high. Okay, and the last one, you can see we just did the same thing. Here you can see basically there is something called the middle line here. This is actually representing the mean. Okay, so it's removed from this particular graph. Okay, so it was actually representing just due to this data equal to data, x equal to sibling spouse, y equal to survive. Similarly, we gave a bar plot, data equal to data, x equal to parent child. Here it was given like yes, x equal to sibling and spouse. Here it was given x equal to parent and child, and y equal to survive. So basically on the parent and child, so total three has the highest survival. Means if the parent, child, and there was one children, okay, three children, those basically survived the most. Okay, so this is actually the analysis on the Titanic dataset. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.